Activision. Tell you what, always getting into trouble.
Always, it seems. Now more than ever.
Yeah.
You weren't very happy with them before all this, Ron.
Yeah, now people are very upset, including some big heads of gaming companies, the two biggest game console manufacturers in the world.
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah. Stay tuned, though, because this is
the PS Ponies podcast. We're once a week. Every week. Me and my best friend Ron get together to bring you guys all of the Sony and other video gaming news you need to know about. Ron, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Crushing it. It's 7 p.m., so it's a little late, but got out of work a little early because I started early. I've got to 100 on the Battle Pass this morning.
Okay.
I woke up early just naturally, and I was like, screw it, I'm staying up.
Yeah.
So I woke up like an hour before my shift started. I'm like, I'm just going to play COD because the double XP ended around like noonish.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah, because it ends on Mondays, and I think noon Eastern is like the reset time.
Gotcha.
So I figured just rep it out, be done with it. Got my Mason skin. I loaded up Warzone, got that skin selected, and I made a class so it fits the fit.
Hey, that's what we like to see. That's what we like to see.
QBZ baby. And Tundra, that's what I'll be running now.
Oh, Tundra, you swapped from the Swiss.
Yeah, you remember that free Tundra we got that had like the white skin with the green on it? I just threw that on because I wanted it to match.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I like the Tundra.
It's hit or miss. I'm either really good with it or I'm bad with it. You know, there's no like... But then again, I feel like that's how it is with sniping in general. Like, I'm either like hitting everything or I'm not hitting anything.
Just depends how weak they are when you hit.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been playing?
Dude, you know.
How you feeling?
Yeah, dude, feeling great.
You're wearing your Woolly Vuitton.
Yes, my Woolly Vuitton hoodie. Yes, not to be mistaken by Louis Vuitton. Yeah, dude, it's been a great week. We had a blast playing the Battle Pass, playing Vanguard and everything. We recently hopped back into Warzone. It was fun. Caught a dub for the first time in weeks last night, if not months.
I was gonna say months for me. I haven't played in a while. Well, Verdansk with dubs. It's
that's really the big one.
But I'm at 98 now, which means we have until December 8th to get me to 100.
Oh yeah, dude.
Because now that's the goal.
I think we only have until the 1st.
I don't think so. The new season starts the 8th though.
The new season starts the 8th, but I think they're like taking a week to shut everything down.
I don't think, but
because last week, if you recall, it said that their final like goodbye Warzone event was the 29th through the 1st.
Okay. So I hope that doesn't happen because now my desire to get that is just declined greatly.
Yeah.
We're not really going to have time this week actually to really play. Tomorrow is like the only day I can. Wednesday I'm gone. Thursday's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving early. And then Friday, Black Friday, we got Friendsgiving the next day.
Maybe Friday night.
I
mean, Saturday morning.
Yeah, maybe.
Afternoonish, we do.
Hey, maybe if I order a monitor on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, like, could be here by Sunday.
We got Sunday too.
Or Wednesday. Yeah.
Anyway, man, other than that, like, I've just been playing Far Cry. Hop back into Far Cry 6, which I'm sure everyone's probably sick of me talking about. Yeah. But, I hopped in sometime last week, and I actually really found I got that like reinvigoration to like go back and play it. I stopped like I think it's the issue with every big open world game that I feel like if you're like me, you get very overwhelmed with. I want to do everything that I can before I move forward in the story, but it's just not the move because
I'm happy I don't get affected by that.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna play the story, and dude, I'm loving it. It's really a lot of fun. Really cool what they're doing. I'm all in for it, and I'm hoping to even hop into the Voss DLC once I finish it. So
cool. Yeah. Now that I'm 100 on the pass, that means I'm back to Persona 5 Royale, which I couldn't be more psyched about.
Have you hopped into Strikers at all?
I don't own it.
Well, yeah, but like, have you thought about it?
I've thought about it, and no.
Because I think it was on sale a few weeks ago.
I've heard it's good, but it's just like it's not like the same really. Like,
well, I think it's more like active fighting rather than turn-based.
It's kind of like Mementos, the game, kind of.
Oh,
like
really?
You're in a lot of combat. From my ignorant understanding of it,
I thought I heard that it was actually like combat, like Witcher style combat, not like turn-based.
No, like you run. From the little bit I saw, I think it's like semi-open world in the sense like you're just running around, you just like fight everybody, and then you kind of just move on to like the next.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how it is.
Gotcha.
But I haven't looked too much into it. I saw a trailer and it didn't really hit me the same. Didn't feel like it was the same game. So
fair.
Yeah.
If you're into a rhythm game, Ron, you can also do Dancing in the Moonlight or Dancing in the Starlight.
Could.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen, but I could.
Are you a real fan, Ron?
But my next platinum is gonna be that, or Vanguard, whatever comes first, and then
yeah.
I found out today if I'm ever itching for another Skyrim playthrough, it's not hard to get the plat on the PS5 version, but you can't import the save and have instant pops. You need to kind of just do one of the requirements for a trophy. So unfortunately, when I beat the game, that was the last thing I had to do. So I already had all the Daedric artifacts. And since I did every Daedric quest, if I replay the game, I need to do all the Daedric quests.
Well, I thought you said you only have to do
on that save.
I see. I see.
To my understanding, on that save.
I see what you're saying.
Because I beat the Alduin story mission because I had a save right before you fight him conveniently, and that didn't pop. But 50 miscellaneous quests pop. Getting the 20 shouts did all the shouts that worked. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through and get the annoying trophies if I do want to replay the game.
Yeah.
Like, I discovered 100 locations. I ran to a mammoth place, and that trophy popped.
Oh, okay.
I want to go find a dungeon and do that dungeon, and that will pop.
Those dungeons are so annoying unnecessarily.
Yeah. So I just want to find one, do it, and be done.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to... Far Cry is on my platinum list. I don't know if I'm going to platinum that or Vanguard first. Really, at the end of the day, the main thing stopping me from Vanguard is the zombies trophies, which I'm like... Part of me is just like, oh, like the trophy hunter in me is like, just, oh, go knock them out. Just like do nothing but play that. But also the other part of me is like, you can play other games and like while we naturally, whenever a new zombie map comes out, just whenever that happens. And
honestly, yeah, I would wait for new maps to come out or the next battle pass. Because then you're going to just forward progress yourself in the battle pass while you grind these things.
Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah.
Then you're not wasting your time.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that one season. I think it was the Alex season where Alex was the operator for Modern Warfare. I remember me and Aaron played so much Warzone. It wasn't even like halfway through and we maxed out the battle pass. It was all done. And we were just like, I don't even know.
You used to be able to level it up faster.
Did you?
Convinced.
It was like that period in time. It was like we wake up, that's all we fucking did. So like, true. Yeah, it's always a bad feeling whenever it's like, what do you do? There's nothing left to do.
Yeah. Then you just hop to the next game. Well, like I said, like getting this pass, I just needed it. Yeah. I needed to get it done. So now I could just focus on other games or other things I just want to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But speaking of Activision, the scumlords that we preluded to earlier in the beginning of the podcast, PlayStation and Microsoft Xbox Studios had some choice words to say towards the now breaking story that the Wall Street Journal published on Activision.
Yep.
Great read. I recommend you read it. I'm not going to be reading through the Wall Street Journal article. I'm going to be referring to the Bloomberg articles Jason Schreier wrote from the PlayStation side and the Microsoft side. The PlayStation address to Activision came out first, so I'm going to review that, kind of what went down. Yeah. So, on the Bloomberg article written by Jason Schreier, Sony Group Corp's PlayStation chief Jim Ryan admonished Activision Blizzard Incorporated Wednesday for an inadequate response to allegations that Chief Executive Officer Bobby Kotick was aware of sexual misconduct and harassment claims at the game publisher for years and had mistreated women himself. Yikes. So, in an email to employees reviewed by Bloomberg, Ryan linked to the Wall Street Journal's Tuesday report. He wrote that he and his leadership were disheartened and frankly stunned to read that Activision has not done enough to address a deep-seated culture of discrimination and harassment. Quote, we outreached to Activision immediately after the article was published to express our deep concern and to ask how they plan to address the claims that made in the article. He wrote, we do not believe their statements of response properly address the situation, end quote. As one of the video game industry's biggest console manufacturers, Sony has long had a close relationship with Activision, which produces hits like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. In addition to publishing most of its games on PlayStation consoles, Activision has worked with Sony on elaborate marketing deals The last few entries in the Call of Duty series, including this year's Call of Duty Vanguard, have featured exclusive modes and content for the PlayStation consoles. Activision is also under fire from its own employees. More than 100 walked out Tuesday and called for Kotick's resignation. The board issued a statement standing by Kotick. Activision shares fell 2.5% on the New York Stock Exchange on Wednesday afternoon. Ryan's email didn't specify actions Sony would take against Activision, but Sony has been proactive in the past about removing games from its PlayStation Online store when it was unhappy. If you remember the Cyberpunk 2077 debacle, the game did not meet the standards for the gamers and the company's qualities. They took it out of the store for about 6 months. Ryan emphasized to his staff that Sony Interactive Entertainment is, quote, committed to ensuring our community of developers and gamers feel safe and respected and providing a secure work environment for every employee, end quote. He called on employees to report instances of harassment or discrimination and promised that any action would be investigated. Kotick is facing mounting concerns about the direction of the company, including in the form of multiple lawsuits and an investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Kotick has apologized for an early reaction from the company that was considered, quote, tone deaf by staff and has taken measures to clean up the corporate culture, including reducing his salary under new gender goals are met and calling off its biggest annual gaming event, BlizzCon. But his support is waning. A small group of Activision Blizzard shareholders, accounting for less than 1% of the outstanding stock, said it called for Kotick's resignation on Wednesday in a letter to the company's board.
Yeah.
That's just a Sony article, and kind of the SparkNotes version of the Xbox side of things was that Activision promised that there would be something going on with it. Microsoft promised that something would go on, like with the relationship, because currently Xbox is evaluating their relationship just as a whole and how they're going to move forward.
Yeah.
I'm sure this definitely affects Activision games maybe coming to Games Pass, maybe Xbox Live Games for Gold, any kind of back-end deals that they already have coming forward. I'm sure that's going to take a big hit as well.
Yeah, and I think PlayStation's in a little more interesting of a position given the fact that they are have worked so closely with Activision in the past that it's just going to be, even if they, I don't know if it would be as easy as just completely cutting ties, because I'm sure there's probably some long-standing contracts that they have to honor. Yeah, I mean, this is great that this is happening. That, you know, it's not only just specifically employees and, you know, public who are holding them accountable, but also the two biggest people that they really have to please at the end of the day are as well. The two biggest companies being Xbox and Sony, or Microsoft and Sony.
Yeah, and a part of the article I did want to read too is, quote, this is a quote from Phil Spencer. This type of behavior has no place in our industry. And Spencer wrote, he joins a swell of outcry from employees to investors and shareholders in demanding a stronger response from the U.S.'s second biggest gaming publisher. On Wednesday, Sony Group Corp's PlayStation chief Ryan sent a similar note to staff that they were disheartened and stunned to read that Activision has not done enough for everyone. So both companies are very concerned about what's going on. Of course, this also just affects their brand as well if they are marketing games on national television, because this is definitely something that's going to take headlines. Yeah, as I'm sure there will be lawsuits in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to take a lot of headlines. They kind of want to stay away from it and already express deep concern that they have with them. Yeah, helps their public image too.
Of course. Yeah. So these are great first steps. I think that this is almost like some warning shots being shot by Sony and Microsoft, just letting them know, like, hey, let's step it up. I do appreciate the message that Jim Ryan also threw in there in his email to the company saying, if you guys have anything similar to this, please.
Especially just from their Sony brands too, because they are very close with, you know, every developer that's especially in their first party studios.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, when things like this happen, like whenever you have such a huge company, it is even more prevalent and more important that you are so on top of stuff like this, because like that Jim Ryan obviously doesn't know the day and days at Naughty Dog compared to Santa Monica, compared to Insomniac. Like having a really strong channel and support system to allow people to feel comfortable and safe coming up, especially from the owner of everything. Well, not the owner, I'm sorry, the president of everything. then I think that really sets a good message and tone for everyone else.
And to conclude this story with us, at least 500 Activision employees have signed a petition to remove Kotick, and a shareholder group has called for him to resign.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah. And we'll see what happens. I'm curious on how long this is going to go until he does.
Yeah.
If he does.
I don't know.
I feel like it would go until there's a court date. I don't see him resigning anytime before a court date is set.
That's fair, but like at the same time, how we said before, like we don't know specifically what the relations and communication between Sony and Microsoft and Activision is.
Potentially Nintendo too. Granted, there's not much Activision with Nintendo, but you know.
I wouldn't even be surprised that if enough people start crying for it, that Sony and Microsoft say, if we're not going to work with you until
this is addressed.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ron, but that's
terrible
it for
news, but
Activision.
great news.
Yeah, exactly. It's horrible that it has to happen, but it's really amazing that this is getting so much notoriety and publicity, in the sense that people are becoming, even outside of the gaming industry, are becoming more and more aware of what's going on and how much of a mess this whole thing is. And all the positivity behind it of fixing it, not the positivity for it, obviously. But yeah. But Ronnie, this is the time of the show where we talk about nothing that has to do with PlayStation, and we talk about Xbox.
Yes, Zach. So Microsoft gaming chief calls for an industry-wide preservation. This is an article by Axios.com written by Steven Totilo. Just to read off the article as well. Microsoft's Vice President of Gaming, Phil Spencer, wants the gaming industry to work toward a common goal of keeping older games available to modern audiences through emulation, he tells Axios. Why does this matter? Well, the industry has giant problems in preserving its past, as older games routinely become unavailable. And if you just even think about the company called Nintendo, yes, that is their biggest issue right now.
I'm going to have to bleep that out later on. Let's just say that.
Sorry. I'm going to get sued. Nintendo, whenever you think game emulation, the first thing you think is Nintendo. Yeah. I had an iPod Touch that was jailbroken to run a Game Boy and a Nintendo DS emulator, so I could play different Pokemon games on there in middle school. Yeah, it was phenomenal.
It was great.
Yeah, shout out to our friends for teaching me how to jailbreak it.
Yeah,
I think my friend Paul or Hunter, I think they were like, "Give me your iPod, I'm gonna fix it for you," and I was like, what? It's like, just give me a trust me. And he jailbroke. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Are you breaking it? Am I going to get arrested? Like, I don't know what's actually happening.
I didn't know it was in prison.
Oh my god. Trust me, I've seen the episode of SpongeBob. He said don't drop the doubloons, so I was a little worried. But yes, when it comes to emulation, especially like PS1 games and Nintendo games, I don't really know if Atari games are really that much, but like Nintendo is just has the biggest history of this happening with it. Yeah. But the article continues to say, many games remain locked to older hardware standards, including consoles that are no longer supported. And there's a quote, I think we can learn from the history of how we got here through the creative, Spencer said, of being able to go back to past works of art. I love it in music, I love it in movies and TV, and there's a positive reason for gaming to want to follow. Yeah. Which makes sense. But reading more into the article too, a big problem with this is just company rights when it's involved with music, when it's involved just licensing in general is a pain in the ass to get around.
Right. And it's not that I think music is a little easier just because of the avenues that we use to listen to music, right? But with gaming, I think he's absolutely right. I think this is the best absolute way to bring a bunch of old classic games back in a very convenient way of doing it. Yeah. But it's tough because Nintendo is so, adamant about not emulating. Exactly. And even the Sly Cooper community. A lot of people emulate Sly Cooper on the PC because it runs better than you could hope for.
And for speed running purposes as well. Yeah,
exactly. Imagine trying to speed run Sly Cooper on PS Now. Yeah. It's just not going to really work out for you all that well.
You either use your PS2 or an emulation.
Yeah, and
depends on the rules.
And I'm pretty sure I saw on the Reddit you can get it in 4K. now too.
Yeah, just to kind of fit the screen, but it's not like polished like The Last of Us.
Yeah, but like so I think this is the best way to keep a lot of those games alive, because there's so many games that are dead and are gonna stay dead. And like, think about how many old Nintendo games that, unless you have like an N64, which unless like a kid now, they don't want an N64.
No.
They don't want to go back in time and play some weird box controller. They just want to.
It's just
they want the new shiny thing,
which there always will be, but not enough.
Exactly. Or unless they have like an older person in their family who like shows them those games, But like a family who just had a kid a few years ago who both weren't really into gaming or anything, like they're never gonna experience an N64. They're not gonna, honestly, even a PS2, they're never gonna have anything to do with that. And it's an easy way to remaster games without actually dedicating the time to doing a full remaster.
Just bringing it back. Like, how much I want to replay Croc from the PS1.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I love that game. It was a little like collectathon game that I just loved on the PS1. And I tried playing it on my PS2, but I have a problem with the lid over the disc. It kind of rises up a bit. Gotcha. So I need to weight it down, but I don't want to break it.
Yeah.
And it's just a pain. And so my PS2 is like alive, but kind of dead.
Wait, your PS2 flips open?
Yeah, so like the lid that shuts down,
it
doesn't flip open, but the latch is a little loose.
Did you have a slim PS2?
I have a slim and a fat. I have two slims and a fatty.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I like the disc tray one more, but I think that gave me a little bit of issues, and that's still at home until I get a house. That's the next time I'm gonna mess with it. But.
Yeah, I remember we got a slim one way later after, and it honestly ended up being amazing because when I was younger, my grandparents used to watch us, so I was carting that PS2 back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and just having one at each place, and just all I had to worry about is the games in the memory card. It was amazing.
If I remember correctly, my grandma on my dad's side got us the PS2. Got me the PS2. It was great because I took that thing over for the most part.
Yeah.
Sisters hated it. But then I think we won another one at a carnival, the Slim.
Oh, I do remember this. You told me about
we
this.
won one at a carnival once, which was hype, and that was like Caitlin's. And then I think one of them like messed up a bit, and then we got a new PS2. And then I think it fixed itself, so it was like we just had DVD players everywhere, which was nice.
Yeah, well, that was a great feature back in the day.
That's what sold so many.
Yeah.
They were so cheap.
Yeah.
You just buy his DVD player.
Exactly.
Fantastic. But anyway, to finish off this article a bit too, the biggest problem, like I said, is that the rights holders of different publications or music, whatever, need to buy into it. And Microsoft itself just announced that the addition of 70 more games to its catalog of emulated old Xbox games is likely to be its last, given rights and technical issues.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But to finish it off too, an official industry emulation approach will require long-term online support to offer game files and to possibly check if the user has the right to access them. Spencer, whose own platform has some of these issues, still sees a path forward. Quote, I think in the end, if we said, hey, anybody should be able to buy any game or own any game and continue to play, that seems like a great North Star for us as an industry. But the bottom line is that emulation isn't the only way to preserve gaming's past, but it might be the best.
No, exactly. And like even going back to kind of the legal issues of it, I remember like the conversation of it was like back like for emulating, older Pokemon games, right? It's like, well, I did purchase a copy and I still have a copy, but I just my system for it broke, or like I don't have the system anymore, but I did technically purchase the game. Yeah. So like technically I'm not breaking the law by emulating it, which I'm not a lawmaker. I'm sure probably a court will see different on that. But I'm also not a lawmaker, but to my knowledge, you're not paying for it and you're not charging people for it. Exactly.
It's a free thing. So it's kind of like, I just, my friend gave me a pirated DVD of, I don't know, Bridesmaid, whatever.
Right. It doesn't matter that I have the Blu-ray in the shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So,
the cops kick your door down. They're like, he has the DVD of Kangaroo Jack. Get him.
Yeah. So, I think this is the amazing step forward, and this is where things really need to go. Mm-hmm.
But in other Microsoft, I guess PlayStation news as well, came out today that Elder Scrolls 6 exclusivity is going to be on Xbox and PC. not PlayStation. It is confirmed. Congratulations. Get out your pitchforks and mechanical keyboards so you can type on Twitter and tell Phil Spencer why you hate him so much because he stole your game. This article is written by posted on GameSpot, written by Eddie McCuck. I don't know how to say it. Makuch? Whatever. Sorry, Eddie. But the title reads, Elder Scrolls 6 exclusivity is not about punishing other platforms, Phil Spencer says, and we'll read a little bit more about that. Not really like too much to read, but I'll just go over a little bit. But a quote from Phil says, it's not about punishing any other platform. Like, I fundamentally believe all of the platforms can continue to grow. But in order to be on Xbox, I want us to be able to bring the full, complete package of what we have. And that would be true when I think about Elder Scrolls 6. That would be true when I think about any of our franchises. Mm-hmm. Makes sense because, first of all, you don't spend $7.5 billion to make it multi-platform. You spend that money to grow your Xbox Games Pass.
Exactly.
Xbox Live Gold, xCloud, all your cloud services as well. That's just why they bought it. That is the biggest, if not one of the biggest names in gaming right now, especially the franchises of Elder Scrolls, and Starfield's already exclusive. We knew that. Yeah. So that comes out next year from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
11, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, this sucks, but, you know, this is also the luxury I think we have had with PlayStation, in the sense that PlayStation was the one who had exclusives. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I mean, I had a lot of friends in college who had Xboxes, and they would talk about, oh, that Ghost of Tsushima game, or like, oh, that God of War game looks so cool, I wish I could play it. And, like, you know, I was always on the, you know, more privileged end of that, being more into PlayStation, having access to these games. Now, with what Xbox is trying to do, that's just naturally going to progress. I think the sore spot with this is that Elder Scrolls has been multi-platform for so long, and we're so close to getting it. Well, close.
Not really.
No, but, you know, in the game
it's game coming time, after Starfield.
Right, but still, you know, there's a lot more buzz about it, especially with the new consoles and everything. And I think it does. It's very easy to feel as though Xbox stole Elder Scrolls from us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people's, like, arguments are sometimes when it comes to games, like, companies that, like, Microsoft has purchased, because, you know, we got Returnal, but that wasn't, like, a company we already owned. They just kind of made the game, and, you know, I assume Sony was just like, hey, put it on our platform. We got an SSD.
Yeah.
And then they're like, holy crap, this is amazing. Let's buy you. I mean, they made games for PlayStation for a while anyway.
Right. But, and I think that's the main difference between PlayStation and Xbox. Is like, PlayStation has taken years to build the library of games that they have exclusively on their system. It has taken them years to build the content creators, i.e. Sucker Punch, i.e. Naughty Dog, getting them under their belt and keeping them. So, like, a lot of their games are, you know, you don't have that overlap of, oh, well, it was on everything, but now it's only on this thing, right? Whereas Xbox, frankly, I don't think really has the time to cultivate that type of environment with new developers, whereas, like, they have the money, so why not spend it, you know? So it's a lot easier to buy Bethesda, know they're gonna make absolute bangers, unless they're Fallout games.
Well, but I was gonna say, like, the silver lining in this is that I'm hoping, like, Microsoft is a lot more strict on their games that are coming out, that are gonna be exclusive. Like, we cannot waste that money. We cannot have another Fallout 76. That can't happen. Skyrim's fun, I guess, if you want to look at the bugs as part of its charm. Whatever. I think it's stupid, but, you know, I'm sure it will probably have less bugs, or, you know, maybe hey, here's the unpatched version. You can have this as a content pack.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised, because, you know, towards the end of this article, Todd Howard even makes a comment about how, you know, when they released Skyrim and they had no idea that Skyrim was going to take off the way, like, Skyrim's been out for a decade. Yeah. You know, people are still playing Skyrim. We just finished, not even a year ago, a full Skyrim playthrough. And with this, he basically talks about how, you know, it's not just like they're making the new Elder Scrolls game. It's like they now feel that they have to make a decade-long game, a game
Right.
that is so fun for a full decade. And if I'm being honest, I could even see if it is something similar to Skyrim, which one I think they have a lot of hype built up into this. I think it's going to be very hard to match it.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like they are going to have a Cyberpunk situation
Yeah.
where they didn't market Skyrim, like the new Elder Scrolls game, a lot. They showed like a splash screen of like, hey, it's coming in like
Right.
10 years. But I feel like it's just natural hype where
Yeah.
Cyberpunk marketed like crazy to build hype, and both are going to come, I think, to
Yeah.
the same situation
Well-
where I don't think the next Elder Scrolls, it's going to do well. It's going to be a commercial success, but it's going to leave a lot of people disappointed because people overhype themselves all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like Elder Scrolls did everything, or well, I should say Skyrim did its own hype. It generated its own hype because now what the thing that's crazy is that they're not only just fighting against like just hype, but like I have 10 years worth of memories of Skyrim, like 10 years worth of, on like those Christmas and winter breaks or the Thanksgiving and winter breaks of with us in summer breaks of us just hanging out in a party, talking, all doing our own thing, which was what we kind of experienced, 7 months ago. But we have
past year.
but like it's fighting not only just against the hype and the fun of the game, but it's also fighting against the hype and the fun and like memories that you have playing those games. And it's going to take a lot for this new game to live up to that. And if it doesn't live up to that, it's going to be very, very heartbreaking, I think, for a lot of people. I almost envy the people who've never played Skyrim hopping into the new one. But I think at the end of the day, if this does become a game that is a 10-year long decade game, and with how powerful the PlayStation and Xbox is, if this even becomes a longer game, or maybe it goes on for 15 years, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe at some point, once Microsoft is maybe not seeing as much of a return on the game, them saying, hey, you know what, we're actually going to make a version for PlayStation.
And people have speculation like maybe it's a year or two exclusivity deal, but they're just not going to tell you that.
No, of course not.
Why would they?
Yeah, because then they potentially just lost an Xbox sale.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think, especially from pre-orders, or just general Games Pass subscribers too.
Yeah.
But
that's going to be said at like an E3 or like something crazy, or like even like something announced on like they're going to let a PlayStation announce it. So.
Yeah. Phil and Jim come out, shake hands, say, all right, give me the game, please. Phil's like, all right, bet. Here you go. But
just imagine that meeting. All right, if we give you or if we give you Elder Scrolls 6, can we have God of War? No, you're not getting God of War. You like Sackboy? You can have Sackboy.
I really hope the game does very well. I mean, honestly, with the value of Games Pass, I already kind of knew I was going to buy an Xbox console at some point again, just to be my Games Pass machine. If I don't have like a computer that I feel is capable enough to run games and enjoyable enough, but maybe my next one, I don't know. But regardless, I knew it was going to happen. I'd probably snag a Series S because you could just walk into a store and buy them at this point if you really want to.
Right.
They're very readily available, but yeah, I wish it all the best, and I'm hoping it does well because I think Bethesda needs that redemption story, which I hope Starfield is like the redemption game.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they've lost a lot of credibility.
Definitely. I agree with you. I think that like Bethesda is now in a weird place. Kind of like it's similarly how we felt with a lot of other developers in the past of, there was a point in my life where if like you said Bethesda was launching a game, you're like, okay, hands down, I know it's going to be amazing. I'm not as confident about that anymore. So yeah, I think that I like you said, Ron, I hope this is good too, because if it is, then that's just hopefully going to push maybe Sony to make their own exclusive big RPG-esque fantasy world game.
Yeah.
Which I would love. I would love to see what like all the developers that they have under their belt can do with that.
Yeah. I remember even I think the new Obsidian game that because Microsoft now owns Obsidian too. They have Outer Worlds 2. The Grounded game, and then I think their next game that they're also working on or announced, I think, is in collaboration with George R.R. Martin, if I remember correctly. I think that's the game.
I thought Elden Ring was. I thought that was Elden Ring.
Or maybe Elden Ring is. I might be thinking of a different game, but Forspoken,
Forspoken. Yeah. That is a game. Yeah. Maybe that is the one with George R. R. Martin.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But still, they have like that in that game. Like from the little bit I saw, I'm actually like really interested.
Yeah. And I think it's just at the end of the day, you guys everyone can be mad, and like I'm not happy about this either, but we're just on the other side of the not getting the game.
At the end of the day, it gets better for everyone.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I like. Yeah, it kind of sucks. Like, I'll have to buy another service. Oh, well. I mean, like, I'm sure it's how people on Xbox side felt the whole generation last year. And both sides are still popping off with fantastic exclusives, as we could talk about in the Game Awards 2021 nominations, because they were just announced. So we'll go over just a couple of them.
Yeah.
So we'll probably go over just I think like the first 5 or something like that. Give our opinions on everything, and we will have our full cohesive list done before the Game Awards take place on December 9th, which is actually kind of coming up, so I got to work on my predictions list.
Yeah. Do you want to go from top left all the way or from top right over to top left? Finish off with Game of the Year.
Oh,
do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. I'm not looking at like that list. I was looking at IGN's list. Do you want to?
Oh, I'm actually have the.
Yeah, count it off.
Oh, yeah, sure. You
have the better view.
Cool. So we got best performance, and so this is Erica Mori as Alex Chen. This is from Life is Strange: True Colors. We have Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo in Far Cry 6. Jason Kelly as Colt Vaughn in Deathloop. Maggie Robertson as Lady Damascu in Resident Evil Village.
Still want to play that game.
And Ozoma Aka as Juliana Blake from Deathloop. Great performances. I don't know about the Life is Strange because I didn't play that one. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even play Resident Evil, but I think I've seen enough of it to like get it. Yeah.
Deathloop. I mean, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be Jason Kelly. Deathloop.
Cool. Oh yeah, that's cool. And these are not our official predictions. We will come out with a full episode. These are just our quick little thoughts of it. Best audio design, we have Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. I think this is Returnal.
I really hope it's Returnal.
This has to be.
Returnal sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm praying it is.
Yeah.
I think it would get a little robbed if it's not.
I agree.
To be honest.
I agree.
Have you edited your list yet? Now that we're talking about it?
No, I haven't even touched it.
Okay.
Nope.
Because I was demoing it for our friend Aaron, on how it like works too.
Yeah. So for the best score and music, we have The Artful Escape, Cyberpunk 2077, Deathloop, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Nier Replicant version, and a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, that was. I did not even bother to write that in the chart.
No. Never thought we would see a Cyberpunk up here for anything. We would. Really?
Yeah. It sure as hell wasn't gonna be Game of the Year, but it has phenomenal music. I love
it. Does, and I really hope it kind of wins. Deathloop. I actually don't really recall if Deathloop. I really don't recall music at all from Deathloop.
Yeah.
Which is like really, I'm really shocked as to why it's on there. Guardians of the Galaxy makes a lot of sense if it's anything like the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think right now that Cyberpunk wins for me just because the music was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I'll take it. I want to take one. Best art direction: Deathloop, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and The Artful Escape. I mean, for me, it's between Ratchet and Kena, but I feel like it's just gonna be Deathloop too. But I think Kena deserves it. Ratchet and Kena deserve it so much.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
The only reason I could see Kena not winning it is because a lot of all the cutscenes are not like in-engine. It's like pre-rendered.
Yeah.
Whereas all of Ratchet and Clank is in-engine.
Yeah, that's what really stands out for me. Like Kena looks amazing, but it's not all the time. Whereas Ratchet and Clank, it looks amazing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, no, I shouldn't say all the time because there's the environment in Kena is so beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe it's also just like the whole thing in my head of it feeling old, like an old game too.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I saw on Twitter as a side note? We'll talk about this when we get to like Game of the Year. But someone, it was like the the nominations came out, and someone like tweeted Jeff Keighley saying like, "Oh my gosh, you have Sony in your back pocket, like all those Sony games and everything."
Oh,
and
I didn't see this.
Yeah, and Jeff responded said, he said, "Returnal isn't even nominated for Game of the Year, dude." Like, yeah, you're right. I haven't played Psychonauts 2. I mean, granted, we don't have that on PlayStation side of things or Metroid, but yeah, we'll see. But best narrative, we have Deathloop, It Takes Two, Life is Strange, True Colors, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and Psychonauts 2.
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm between It Takes Two and Deathloop. I haven't played the other games, which is why it's hard for me.
I haven't played any of them.
Actually, I've only played Deathloop, and I didn't even finish the game.
I haven't played any of them. I think I'm between Life is Strange and Marvel.
Really?
Yeah, because I wouldn't have expected Guardians of the Galaxy to be nominated for this at all, which makes me, because I haven't played it, but it makes me think maybe it's actually really, really good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah.
Best game direction. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I personally think it should be Ratchet and Clank.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's not that game just doesn't miss a beat on a single
It feels like the classic, but also a crap ton of new stuff that can supposedly be only done on the PlayStation 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And take it away for Game of the Year.
And for Game of the Year, our nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. Oh, never mind. Okay. I was going to say it's really funny that every game on this thing is a console exclusive except for Resident Evil, but It Takes Two is on everything as well. So
yeah.
Would have been funny.
Consoles.
Shout out to console exclusivity.
We'll see. I'm
not even going to talk about this one.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to give you any opinions.
Let's not.
I have no idea. You'll hear them when we actually talk about them.
Yeah, because you and I are going to get our list done, I'm sure, before all of our friends do.
Most likely.
For everything, just mainly for the podcast, too.
Yeah.
But if you are interested in seeing the full list, is on the Game Awards' website. You can go there, list it by category, do whatever. Always the toss-up for us is the esports side of things. Actually, I did want to make a note as well. Best esports host is not a category this year that you can nominate, I'm assuming because of COVID, but a new category this year is most anticipated game, which I did want to go over. So the list of the nominees for the most anticipated game is Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Starfield, and the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's an amazing prelude for how difficult these awards are going to be for next year.
Yeah. I'm worried. I don't think Legend of Zelda is going to come out next year.
Oh, really?
I think it would have been announced by now.
I feel like to be nominated I feel like to be nominated for most anticipated game, it has to come out the next year. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure
that makes sense to me, right?
I'm fairly confident that The Last of Us 2 was nominated for most anticipated game 2 years prior to it coming out, and it won.
All right. Fair.
It's still anticipation. Yeah. They just won't be nominated next year.
Unless it goes based off... No, because
they don't know when it's coming out.
No, you're right.
Unless that's just behind the doors insider info, but you really can't assume any game's coming out when they give you a date anymore anyway.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know.
For me, it's God of War. My personal opinion is God of War.
My personal opinion is God of War. It's crazy because each of these games have such a diverse fan base.
Yeah.
Starfield's Bethesda, Nintendo's Zelda,
yeah.
Horizon Ragnarok or PlayStation, and Elden Ring is just the Souls players, which are a big freaking community.
It's going to be whatever community is allowed us,
yeah.
I think.
And Elden Ring and Horizon come out both in February, I believe. So, yeah which is nuts. So, yeah. I'm excited. I don't think Horizon would beat God of War, though, personally.
No chance.
I think God of War 1 was just way too good. I mean, the Horizon's a very good game, but
I
it's
think
a completely different type of game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't even know. Talk about that one later, too.
Yeah. Zach. Tell me about Marvels Avengers Spiderman DLC.
Well,
what's behind that?
Yes,
that great game that's doing phenomenal right now.
In our many console exclusivity discussions today, so Spider-Man is going to be a playable character in Marvel's Avengers, as you all know. Mm-hmm. The only hitch outside, other than they're not handling it the same way they did with previous characters like Hawkeye or Black Panther, or I think there's another one. So these previous characters have been released with their own like kind of single player or like story expansion to some extent, and then you can obviously use them in the rest of the game that was already pre-existing before them. Spider-Man is not getting any type of expansion or anything like that. All the content is mainly going to be as you just complete missions and stuff. You'll unlock like audio logs and like some cinematic stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so
like you played as Spider-Man.
Right? You just do the missions that you can do as anybody else, but like the more you level Spider-Man up, the more like cinematic stuff and dialogue, like audio things you unlock. Okay.
Also, Kate Bishop was the other character.
Kate Bishop. So, which for a lot of people, I'm sure is very like upsetting, being that you're really not getting anything with Spider-Man.
I'm not really surprised.
What they ended up saying over Crystal Dynamic, the reason why is because it is an exclusive character. They would rather take the time to build content that everybody can play rather than focusing content on Spider-Man specifically.
You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like they just need money right now, and just one platform is not going to bring them enough money.
Yeah, so unlike the other characters, this drop is going to be very similar to like something like Rainbow Six, where like it adds a new character, it adds a new dynamic to like the gameplay and everything, but at the end of the day, there's no like big single player story missions that like go into the character's past and stuff like that. So it's understandable. I mean, it makes sense, especially with how much in a spot the game is right now. I wouldn't want to spend too much time on content that even already decreases the amount of people that can experience it when you already don't have that many people playing the game in general. So yeah, but I guess you can also rationalize that if you are someone, you can only get this on if you have a PlayStation. So if you want like Spider-Man content, play Spider-Man games.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't really have anything else to really add to it. I'm not really surprised. I think the state of the game is just in such a weird spot that they just needed to make the Spider-Man character playable and not bug out on everything, just to hopefully get some people from the PlayStation side into it.
Yeah.
Did it say if that's a free DLC or is that a paid?
It's a paid DLC.
It's paid?
I'm pretty sure. It didn't specify, but I think you do have to pay for it.
If it's paid, I can see people being irritated just by the fact that there's no other.
I think it depends.
If it's like $5, sure. But if charging like 15, I think
if the other ones were like 25 and then Spider-Man's 25, that's ridiculous. But if like Spider-Man's like 10 and the other ones are worth 25, then you could rationalize, all right, the character's only worth $10 and then the rest of the content's
right.
But Ronnie, PlayStation is not having it.
No.
When it comes to people making fancy dancy plates and putting them on their console
to sell.
As of November 16th, a patent was officially recognized, stating that Sony has exclusive rights to manufacture the faceplates for the PS5. We've talked in the past about some other companies who've done faceplates for Sony. Most notably is Dbrand, who was very antagonizing towards Sony about making the faceplates. Once they finally got a cease and desist, claiming that basically the Sony stance was that the look of the faceplates is exclusively they have exclusive rights to, and that is what their PlayStation 5 is in their console. So Dbrand stopped selling the plates, but they came out with a brand new set of plates that don't look like it.
Yeah.
And
it fits the correct form of the system. Yeah. It does look pretty cool, I will say.
I agree with you. And it actually even has little air fan holes. Mm-hmm. So you potentially could even be better for your console with getting more air in there.
More circulation, yeah.
But and Dbrand even went on to antagonize Sony even more by saying if they try to come back at us again, they can pay our legal fees.
Right.
Which I realized that really at the end of the day, it is the faceplates that make up the whole look and design of the console.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm actually really excited and curious to see what else people can come up with and how they can alter the way the PlayStation looks to even like to just not look like a PS5 at all.
Right. I'm hoping this does kind of spark ideas of people creating their own plates that don't simulate the exact look of a PS5. Sure, I wish I could go on a website and create my own custom plates, and then I could just have them shipped to me that looks exactly like the system. But I mean, you know, the time will tell. We'll see what can happen.
So the filing of this patent run does lead to some speculation that maybe the reason that Sony was so adamantly against other people doing it is because they hope and plan to roll out their own faceplates that they will sell.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that coming up here in the future, we might see, you know, buying it maybe off PlayStation Direct or some other avenue that Sony is actually putting out different colors and maybe even designs. I talked to you before about since it's so easy to change the faceplates rather than, you know, making collector's editions with like the console. So like, you know, they did the God of War console, the PS4 that came out, that if you can actually buy a version of, you know, God of War Ragnarok that comes with 2 faceplates for your console to put on, that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool if they do something like that.
The only downside, there's one wishful thinking I think Sony would do, and one downside to that. I don't know how many of like those console editions they actually sell because I don't have the numbers for that.
Yeah.
But I think giving a collector's edition that doesn't sell the console as well, that's not. That lowers the amount of units of consoles they could sell. And that's where Sony's making their money. Well, that's a lie. They're making it from software sales. But that's what they're saying to investors. Like, we've sold 50 million PS5s, 60, 70, 80. Like, that's going to help them kind of push that number, which is unfortunate. But one thing I wish Sony would do that, like I said, is wishful thinking because of what I just said. Xbox is very good with customizing your own controller on their website. I love them for that. I really wish you could just make your own console plates on like a PlayStation website and just have it sent right to you and be like, all right, cool, that's the one. But that would I guarantee, well, I'm not a businessman. I think that would make them a lot of money if they sold it for like $50, 60, 70, like for both plates, like 75 or something.
Yeah, people love customizing things.
Yeah,
people love customizing things.
Yeah.
So,
I'm hoping, but we will see. But Zach, to conclude our PlayStation news for the week, our baby has turned 1 as of November 12th. 10 days ago.
So we're a little behind on this, but PlayStation 5 is officially 1 and 2 weeks old. 1 year and 2 weeks old. So Jim Ryan actually put something out on the PlayStation blog and just talking and recapping the past year. So, you know, for those of you who are unaware, some of the games that have released this year, or just really for Sony in general, they announced a next generation VR for the PS5 that we don't know too much about yet. Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, Returnal, and Deathloop all came out this year. They acquired Blue Point Games, Fire Sprite, and Housemarque, and Nixxes. All huge wins. This past year, 4.6 billion hours of gameplay has taken place on the PS5, and 26 million hours of broadcasting content has taken place.
That's a bigger number, better person type of thing.
Yes, and the top games that have been played the past year on the PS5 is Fortnite, Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is a little surprising to me.
That
Destiny
game is so
2.
long.
Yeah.
I think that really gets...
Well, it takes 300 hours to beat the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Destiny 2, MLB The Show 21, Marvels, Spiderman, Miles Morales, Demon Souls, and NBA 2K22, which is kind of crazy because didn't that like just come out a little bit ago?
I think it came out in the summer, I think.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, but he puts in there, so, you know, he says a lot of really nice things, thanking everyone. But what I do like is he does thank everyone for their patience who has been unable to purchase a console yet. I'm sure that he would love to have, while writing this, have said that they actually put 15 billion hours in and all the other boosted statistics. But, yeah.
I'm hoping that whenever we get more chips and for the consoles and for Xbox as well. Like we can kind of see both those sales figures for both platforms raise up, because right now it has fallen behind the PlayStation 4 in terms of sales at this current point in its life cycle. It sucks, but that's not because the hype died. Everyone still wants a PlayStation. A lot of people still want a Series X. Not enough want a Series S apparently, but even so, I'm hoping by next year they can look back on this and realize like, all right, cool, we have doubled what we sold last year, which I'm hoping.
Exactly. Yeah, so how was your first year, Ron? How was your first year of
First year was great. Played a lot of PS4 games, I tell you what. But the games that I did play that I actually do kind of want to revisit, one of them being Returnal. I just kind of had an itching lately because I love like that arcadey style of games, like the bullet hell games like that. We currently have a little bit of a slow season from now until February. So I don't think I'm going to get to Returnal before then, especially if I'm playing Persona 5 and wanting to platinum it. Yeah. But we have the new Warzone map dropping soon that I'm sure we'll be playing. And then maybe if I get like games around the holiday season that are discounted. But right now it's probably just Persona that. And then we actually may be playing Tiny Tina's DLC for Borderlands soon as well. Yeah. But right now we're in that slow season, but I think it's been a really good year. Ratchet & Clank was a phenomenal game. Returnal, fantastic game. Miles Morales, Astro's Playroom. I didn't play like the Spiderman remaster, like 2018 one, because I didn't really care to.
Oh, right, yeah.
But overall, solid year. Yeah. Happy with it. A lot of cool features came out. A lot of stuff that does need fixed or added to the thing. I think folders need to make a return. I don't know why they're not in it, but I want folders back. That's my biggest thing. Yeah, man, I'm in the same boat. It's been a great year. A lot of amazing games for the PS5 that came out, and a lot of just amazing experiences on it. The screen sharing, the ability to just clip everything in a fast way rather than having to wait like 9 years for anything like that. That's what sucks is sometimes when Greg and Aaron and I play Overwatch and I play my PS4, if I want to clip something, it's just not happening. No. The share feature is phenomenal on the 5. I love it. Yeah, so here's great last year. Here's to another one. Let's see what happens because it's going to be a good one. Yeah. Well, everybody, that is all I have, Ron. Is that all you have? That is all I have, but one thing I did want to note. You can ask us questions every single week, and we will be answering them every single week at AskPSPonies@gmail.com. That is AskPSPonies@gmail.com. Feel free to send us questions, concerns, comments, issues, or tissues, as a lot of teachers said in college. I didn't think it would last college, but whatever. I've never heard that. Issues or tissues? Never heard that. I've heard that. I think I've probably heard it in like high school or something. Yeah, middle school, high school. One of my professors said it in college just to be ironic. I loved it. But yeah, be sure to send us questions. If you're also just seeing more PS Ponies content, follow us on Twitter. I haven't really been that active lately, but I'll step it up a little bit. You can follow us at PSPonies on Twitter. That is twitter.com/PSPONIES. And Zach, send us out. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to us, and please be sure to reach out to us in those avenues Ron gave you. Other than that, we will catch you next Monday, and have a great time. Bye.